let us move further and talk about pseudophores and a few more questions. Question. So this is a pulley. This is smooth. Basically, surface is smooth. All three masses are equal. Tension here is T1. Tension here is T2. So question says find acceleration of block. Find acceleration of blocks, and number two, tension in strings T1 and T2. Please find quickly. Okay. Please keep your mics muted. Please keep your mics muted. In this question, please pay attention. These two masses which are on the table, these will move together and we can consider them as one mass for the sake of calculation of accelerations. Mg is acting downward, T1 is acting upward. Mg minus T1 is equal to Ma. I am considering it to go down by A. Secondly, T1 is acting on these two masses. So T1 is equal to 2m into A. Okay. So basically when you are going to add them, what you are going to get is mg is equal to 3ma. So A comes out to be g by 3 meters per second square. A comes out to be g by 3 meters per second square. Okay. Now let us talk about tensions. So T1 is equal to 2ma is equal to 2m into A is g by 3. Okay, so that is T1. That is T1. Now if we talk about T2, listen very carefully. So T2 is causing the motion of this block C. Okay, so T2 is equal to MC into AC. MC is M and AC is A, which is G by 3. That is the answer. That is the answer. Okay, so that is how you can simply solve. That is how you can simply solve. Okay. Okay, everyone. Okay, good. Next. Next, we are moving towards friction. Friction. So, what all do we know? Okay, Asmita. Pay attention. In this question, previous question which we just did, there were three masses. One mass is hanging, one mass is on table, and third mass C is also on table. The hanging mass and the another mass, they are connected by one string, which we are calling tension T1. The tension in other two masses which are on table, we are considering it as T2, and it was given also that it is T2. So what we did, mg which is hanging minus T1 is equal to mass into acceleration, F resultant is equal to ma. After that, when we talked about the two masses which are on the table, T1 is acting on them towards right, and that is causing their acceleration. So T1 is F resultant is equal to their mass, which is 2m, into acceleration, which is a. So that gives us, when we solve these two, 1 and 2, we get a is equal to g by, we put values, and then we got values of T1 and T2 also. Understood, Asmita? Understood, Asmita? Okay. So now we are going to talk about friction. So what exactly is friction? First and foremost thing, friction is a force. Friction is a force. Okay. There should be no doubt about it. Friction is a force. Now what is special about friction? So it is a force which acts between two objects or surfaces, okay, and it tries to stop the relative motion occurring between them. So friction is a force. This is point number one. Next point is it acts between two objects in contact. It acts between two objects in contact. Okay. So basically what it is trying to tell you is it is a contact force. What it is trying to tell you that friction is a contact force. All right. Okay. So friction is a force, no doubt about it. Number two, it acts between two objects in contact. Number three, friction acts in such a way that it tries to oppose the relative motion occurring between the two objects. It acts in such a way that it tries to stop it tries to stop relative motion occurring between two objects. Okay, it tries to stop relative motion occurring between two objects. All right, all right. Now friction acts parallel to the surface or parallel to the contact surface. So direction of friction will be always parallel to the contact surface. Direction of friction direction of friction will always be will always be parallel to the contact surfaces. Okay, if you remember, if you recollect, direction of normal reaction is always perpendicular to the contact surface, right? In case of friction, it is always parallel to the contact surface. Okay, keep that thing in mind. So let us talk further. Now before we talk that friction is of two types, before we talk friction is of two types, one is static, one is kinetic. Okay, let us see how it works. Let us see how it works. So to understand that, we need to do or take one example. Suppose this is a block. This is a block. Mass is m. This is ground, and ground is rough. Ground is rough. Why we have taken ground as rough? Because if ground is smooth, then ground will not have the capacity to exert friction. Presley, please keep your mic muted. Your mic is unmuted. Okay. Thank you. So what I was telling you, that for any surface to exert friction, surface should be rough. If surface is not rough, then surface does not have capacity to exert friction. Okay, so that's why I have maintained it as rough. Now suppose this block was moving with some velocity v naught. So if this block is moving with some velocity v naught, what the surface will try to do, or ground will try to do? Ground will try to stop this relative motion which is occurring between ground and the object. Now how the surface or ground can stop the relative motion? Obviously it is not going to say anything to block that, oh, block please stop. No, in this case ground is going to exert a force on block, and that force will be friction. That force will be friction. Okay, as the motion which you are observing, is actually happening between the ground and object, the friction acting between these two will be kinetic. Friction acting between these two will be kinetic. What kind of friction will be there? Kinetic friction. Why? Because there was a relative motion occurring between the object and ground. So kinetic friction will act here. Kinetic friction will act here. So when kinetic friction comes into picture, when actually the relative motion is occurring between object and ground. When actually relative motion is occurring between object and ground, then kinetic friction acts, and it acts in such a way that relative motion should stop, relative motion must not happen. Okay. Now in place of the moving object, suppose we have another scenario where object or block is kept on ground. Now you are applying some force F, and this is rough, and this is M. Now when force is applied and block is stationary initially, block is initially stationary. Okay, that means initially there was no movement, and what you have done, you are exerting force F as shown. Then what will happen? Friction will act, and friction in this case will be Fs. Fs for static. So here static friction will act. Static friction will act. Okay, this is very important to understand. So basically the point which is to be noted is that depending on the requirement, depending on the situation, friction decides itself that whether it is going to be kinetic or it is going to be static, depending on the requirement. All right. Suppose you are an intelligent person, you have pen also and you have gun also. All right. So based on your intelligence, you are going to decide whether you are going to use pen or you are going to use gun as per the requirement, as per the requirement, that what is needed at the moment. Okay, if pen is sufficient to get the things done, then you will be writing some letters. Okay, and when you know that pen is not sufficient, letters are not going to help, then you are going to use gun. Similarly in this example, depending on the scenario, in first case block was actually moving, already moving. So to stop the object or to stop the relative motion, what will happen? Kinetic friction will act. In second case, block was stationary, and what the surface wants, that the relative motion should not start. So for that, static friction will act. Okay. So basically, let me give you the definition of friction. So friction is a force which acts between two objects in such a way that it tries to oppose the relative motion. Be very clear about the word relative. So friction is a force. Friction is a force which acts between two objects, between two objects in such a way that it tries to oppose, it tries to oppose a relative motion. Now be very clear about this word. Friction does not oppose motion. Many people have this wrong notion. Many people have this wrong notion that friction opposes motion. No, friction opposes relative motion. Friction opposes relative motion, or you can say friction even opposes the tendency of relative motion. Okay, if the object is moving, that means relative motion is occurring, then friction will try to stop the motion. But if object is stationary and if object is trying to move, trying, some force is acting on the object and due to which the object is about to move, then friction will start acting such that the block should not move or object should not move. All right. Okay. So friction is of two types. Friction is of two types. Number one, kinetic, and number two, static. Friction is of two types. Number one, kinetic. Number two, static. I am calling kinetic as number one because we are going to study it first. We are going to study it first. Okay. So, first of all, please write kinetic friction. Kinetic friction. So what is kinetic friction? It is the friction which acts between two objects when relative motion is occurring between them. It is the friction, it is the friction which acts between two objects, which acts between two objects when a relative motion is occurring between them. Okay, so when already the relative motion is occurring, then kinetic friction comes into picture. Then kinetic friction comes into picture. All right, so just to give you example, I am creating a block. Okay, this block is on ground. Okay, anyway, leave. So this block has mass m. It is moving with, let's say, v, and this is rough. Okay, So in that case, when the block is already moving, kinetic friction will act opposite to the direction of motion of object. Now, how much will be the value of Fk? So, friction acting between the two objects is proportional to the normal reaction acting between them. So, mg is acting downward, n is acting upward. So, you can see n minus mg is equal to 0. So, basically what we are trying to do here, we are trying to find value of n. We are trying to find value of n. So, n minus mg is equal to 0. N minus mg is equal to 0. So f is proportional to n, and that gives us fk is equal to mu k n. Fk is equal to mu k n. What is mu k here? Here mu k is coefficient of kinetic friction. Please write. Here mu k is coefficient of kinetic friction. Here mu k is coefficient of kinetic friction. Okay, what is n here? N is normal reaction. N is normal reaction acting between object and ground. Object and ground. Okay, so n is normal reaction acting between object and ground. Okay, all right. Now comes the direction. So direction of kinetic friction. Direction of kinetic friction direction of kinetic friction is always opposite to the direction of relative velocity. Direction of kinetic friction is always opposite to the direction of relative velocity. Deepika Singh sir, can you please elaborate how it is directly proportional to normal reaction? See, it is direction is parallel to the contact surface. Direction is parallel to the contact surface, there is no doubt about it. But the value is proportional to n. Value is proportional to n. So basically magnitude is proportional to n. These are two different things. Direction is different and magnitude is different. Okay. Where the friction will act, it will always act parallel to the surface. It will always act parallel to the surface. Now, how the friction is acting? It is acting due to normal reaction. If you make normal reaction 0, then friction will become 0. If you make normal reaction 0, then friction will become 0. Alright. You want further explanation, Deepika, or is it fine? Okay. Okay. Question. So this is a block which is moving with 20 meters per second. M is 10 kg. Mu is equal to 0.5. So for the given object, for the given object, find number one, kinetic friction, kinetic friction. Number two, acceleration of object. Number three, time when velocity of object will become zero. Time when velocity of object will become zero. Okay, please find. You need to recheck your answers, Suhas. You need to recheck your answers. Okay, everyone, please pay attention. So, on this block, 10G is acting downward, N will be acting upward, right? So, what we can do is N minus 10G is equal to 0. Why it is 0? Because block is not accelerating in vertical direction at all. Neither it is going up nor it is going down. So N minus 10G is equal to 0. N comes out to be 10G, or you may call it 100 Newton. Correct? So how much will be kinetic friction? So Fk will be mu Kn. Fk will be mu Kn. So Fk will be mu K 0.5 into 100, and that comes out to be 50 Newton. That comes out to be 50 Newton. So how much will be, now pay attention everyone. What is the direction? Direction is this. Direction is this. So if this is the direction, A will be Fk by M. So 50 upon 10 is equal to 5. But what is the direction? Opposite to velocity. So can we call it minus? Yes, we can call it minus. So it will be 5 meters per second square, and basically it is retardation. Basically it is retardation. So U is equal to 20. A is equal to minus 5 meter per second square. V is equal to 0, it is given, and T is equal to question mark. So by V is equal to U plus AT, by V is equal to U plus AT. So V is 0 is equal to U is 20 plus minus 5 into T. So T comes out to be 4 seconds. T comes out to be 4 seconds. That is the answer. T is equal to 4 seconds is the answer. Any doubt, any question in this, anyone? Any doubt, any question in this, anyone? Okay, okay, good. Next question. So there is a block of mass 5 kg. This is mu is equal to 0.5. The block is going up with 20 meters per second. And let me take this angle as rather than 37, I am taking it as 53. Okay. So question says find number 1 kinetic friction, number 2 retardation of block, number 3 time taken by block to stop, and number 4 distance moved before stopping. Distance moved before stopping. Distance moved before stopping. Okay. One person, Noshain, has given the answers. I don't know whether he's right or not, but he has given answers. Sia is saying, hmm, all right. So basically, Noshain and Sia both are getting the same answers. Gauri is saying that no, 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 no. This is not the way. Her answers are different. Very nice. We are acting like a matured democracy. People have different views, though for science it is bad actually. But still, as a social science, we are doing good. As science, we are in a problematic situation because all people are getting different answers, which can't be true. But as social science, we are doing fairly good. People have diverse views and they are freely giving their views. Good. Anyone who is getting the correct answer? One more answer and then we'll start discussion. Okay, okay, okay. Everyone, please pay attention. 5G is acting downward. All right. N will be acting perpendicular to the surface. Now, as the block is going up, friction will be acting downward and that will be Fk. All right. This 5G can be resolved into two components. One will be 5G sine 53, which will be downward, and one will be 5G cos 53, which will be perpendicular to the surface. Okay. Okay. So for block, and first we are talking perpendicular to inclined plane. Perpendicular to inclined plane. So n minus 5G cos 53 is equal to 0. N minus 5G cos 53 is equal to 0, and that will give us n is equal to 5G. So 5 into 10 into cos 53 is 3 by 5. So that is 30 Newton. But that is value of n. Mind it. So how much will be kinetic friction? So Fk is equal to mu Kn is equal to half into 30, and that will be 15 Newton. So kinetic friction will be 15 Newton. Kinetic friction will be 15 Newton. There should be no doubt about it. So all those who were giving answers of kinetic friction other than 15, they are wrong. They could be right as per social science, but as per science and specifically physics, they are wrong. Okay. So this is the first point, kinetic friction. Now comes retardation. Now comes retardation. Everyone please pay attention. F resultant on block. F resultant on block. So F resultant is equal to, pay attention everyone. It is Fk plus 5g sine 53. Because Fk is also acting downward, 5g sine 53 is also acting downward. So Fk is 15 plus 5 into g into sine 53 is 4 by 5, and that comes out to be 55 Newton. So A resultant is equal to F resultant by M, 55 by 5. भाइयों बहनों, that comes out to be minus 11 meter per second square. Okay, none of you gave that answer. None of you. It's quite shameful. Why? Because you know everything, but you are not applying it. So retardation comes out to be minus 11 meter per second square. Okay. After that, things are very easy and simple. U is equal to plus 20. You can see that initial velocity was given as 20 meter per second. Final velocity is 0, so V is equal to 0. A is equal to minus 11 meters per second square. T is equal to question mark. S is equal to question mark. These two things we need to find today. So by V is equal to U plus AT. So 0 is equal to 20 plus minus 11 into T. So T comes out to be, bhaiyo bahno, 20 by 11. T comes out to be 20 by 11. T comes out to be 20 by 11 seconds. None of you got that. None of you. And by V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So 0 square, because final velocity is 0, U square is 20 square plus 2 into minus 11 into S. S comes out to be 20 into 20 upon 2 into 11. 20 into 20 upon 2 into 11. So that comes out to be 200 by 11 meters. (200 by 11 meters). Okay. So these are the answers, everyone. These are the answers, everyone. Any doubt, any question? Any doubt, any question? All right. Any doubt, any question, anyone? If you have, feel free to ask. Okay. I'm giving you a further question. IPQ. That means in the previous question. Find number 1, time taken by the object to come down. Okay, so how much time it will take to come down? You need to find that. Number 2, speed of object. Speed of object when it returns back to the starting point. Okay. So speed of object when it returns back to the starting point, that also you need to tell. Please find. Hmm. Anyone else who has got the answer? Chrisley is saying root of 2000 by 11 is the speed. Two more answers and then we'll discuss. Quickly give me the answers. Okay, everyone, please pay attention. So while it is coming down, okay, this is 53 degree. So while it is coming down, again 5G will be acting downward, N will be acting upward, perpendicular surface basically. Now 5G sine 53 will be acting downward along the inclined plane. 5G cos 53 will be perpendicular because this is 53 degree. Now, as it is going down, friction will be acting upward. Friction will be acting upward. Calculation will be exactly same as was in previous case. Only things will be, values will change. So acceleration, A will be 5G sine 53 minus Fk upon M. Fk will be how much? It will be mu mg cos 53. And that will be basically 15 Newton, which was in previous case also. The only thing is this time direction of friction is reversed. So that comes out to be 40 minus 15 upon 5. So A comes out to be 5 meters per second square. So U is equal to 0. Why? Because when it is starting from the topmost point, initial velocity is 0. A is 5 meters per second square. S, displacement. If you see the previous question, S was 200 by 11. So the amount of distance which it has gone up, it will come down by same distance. S will be 200 by 11. V is equal to question mark. Velocity we need to find. And T is equal to question mark. Time we have to find. Okay. So by V square is equal to U square plus 2S. Srishti, in this it is not retardation. 5G sine 53 is acting downward. Friction is acting upward. So how much is F resultant? F resultant will be 5G sine 53, which is downward, minus Fk mu mg cos 53 upon total mass. Total mass is 5. So that will be our acceleration, 5 meter per second square. So it's not retardation, it is acceleration in this case. Retardation comes into picture when acceleration is opposite to the velocity. Then it reduces the magnitude of velocity. Then it's called retardation. In this case, force or acceleration is enhancing the velocity. That's why it is not retardation. Okay, Srushti. So by v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So v is to be calculated. U is 0 square plus 2 into 5 into 200 by 11. So v comes out to be root of 2000 by 11 meter per second. So v comes out to be root of 2000 by 11 meters per second. Okay, this is velocity. Now comes time. So by s is equal to ut plus half at square. So u is 0. So t will be under root 2s upon a. T will be under root 2s upon a. Let us put values in this. Let us put values in that. So t is equal to under the root of 2 into 200 by 11 upon a 5. That will be the answer. Okay. So that comes out to be root of 80 by 11. Right? Samarth, your answers are correct. Crashly, your answers are also correct. Understood, everyone? Any doubt, any question? Good. Next question. Next question. So there are two blocks A and B. Both are connected by a string which is passing over a pulley. Question says find A, A and AB. Find A and AB. Also find tension in string. Also find tension in string. Enough time given. Please give me the answer. Presley saying A is equal to 40 by 7, T is equal to 150 by 7. Okay, and he has got one like also. Samarth has liked. All right, everyone, please pay attention. 5G is acting downward. T is acting upward. On this B block, T will be acting towards right. 2G is acting downward. N will be acting upward, and friction will be acting in opposite direction. And that friction will be nothing but mu n. Okay. Now pay attention. For A. So for A, what we can see, 5G minus T is equal to 5A. 5G minus T is equal to 5A. All right. Now for B. For B, along vertical, it is N minus 2G is equal to 0. It is along vertical. So that gives us N is equal to 20 Newton. Now along horizontal. Along horizontal. So T minus Fk is equal to Ma. Okay. Now how much will be Fk? So let us see. So Fk is equal to mu n. Mu is 0.5 and n is 20. So that comes out to be 10 Newton. So T minus 10 is equal to 2A. This will be your second equation. So if you solve 1 and 2, so by 1 and 2, by 1 and 2, so 5G, I am adding these two. So 5G minus 10 is equal to 7A. So 40 is equal to 7A. A will be 40 by 7. A will be 40 by 7. So acceleration comes out to be 40 by 7. There is no doubt about it. Now comes the tension. So tension can also be calculated easily. I am using equation 2. So T is equal to 10 plus 2A. So 2 into 40 by 7. So T is equal to 10 plus 80 by 7. So 70 plus 80 by 7. That means T is equal to 150 by 7. T is equal to 150 by 7. Okay. So that is the answer. That is the answer. Any doubt, any question, anyone? Any doubt, any question, anyone? No question. That's a good thing. Next question. Mhm. Yeah, now it's fine. So this is 5 kg, this is 2 kg, this is 53 degree, this is mu is equal to 0.5, this is A, this is B, this is fixed. So the question says find acceleration of A and B. Find acceleration of A and B. Please find. Gauri is saying 0.5 meter per second square. You are getting two answers, Gauri. Okay, 5 by 7 is your final answer. Presley is saying 45 by 7. Deepika, your answer is 50/7. Okay. Pay attention. 5G is acting downward. N is acting perpendicular to the surface. 5G sine 53 will be acting downward. We are considering that it is going down by A. So friction will be acting in this direction, which will be Fk. Tension will be acting in this, which will be T. Here tension will be T. Here it is 2G. And here it is A. Okay. Now I am resolving. So 5G cos 53 will be perpendicular to the surface because this angle is 53 degree. So for 5 kg block, for 5 kg block, so N minus 5G cos 53 is equal to 0. So N will be 5 into 10 into cos 53 is 3/5. So that comes out to be 30. So if N is 30, Fk will be mu N, and that will be half into 30 is equal to 15 Newton. Now pay attention. Along the incline, if I am talking, along the incline. So 5G sine 53 is acting downward, minus T, which is acting upward, minus Fk, which is also acting upward, should be equal to 5 into A. Equation number 1. Okay. Now for 2 kg block. For 2 kg block. So T minus 2G is equal to 2A. T minus 2G is equal to 2A. So pay attention. If we add, so adding 1 and 2. So 5G sine 53 minus T plus T will get cancelled, minus 2G minus Fk. Fk is 15 is equal to 7A. So 5 into 10 into sine 53 is 4/5 minus 20 minus 15 is equal to 7A. So 40 minus 35 is 5 is equal to 7A. So A is equal to 5/7 meters per second squares. That is the answer today. That is the answer today. Okay. Srushti has got 5/7. Amba has got 5/7. Ronald has got 5/7. Gauri has got 5/7. So those who are getting 5/7, they are right. Vedant is saying, sir, please explain along the incline again. Okay, Vedant, pay attention. What we did basically, we resolved 5G into two components. One is along the incline, which is downward. One is perpendicular to incline. So along the incline component is 5G sine 53. Perpendicular to incline component is 5G cos 53. So now when we are talking along the incline, listen carefully. 5G sine 53 is causing the motion, which is downward, minus tension, because tension is not allowing it to move so easily, because it is acting opposite to 5G sine 53. So 5G sine 53 minus tension minus friction Fk, kinetic friction, is acting opposite to the motion as usual, and that should be equal to mass into acceleration. So 5G sine 53 minus T minus Fk is equal to 5A. Fk we had already calculated, it was 15. So, and for 2 kg block, if we see, that is only in vertical direction. So upward force is tension which is causing the motion because it is accelerating upward. So T minus 2g because it is acting downward, and that should be equal to 2a. When you solved, you got a is equal to 5 by 7 meters per second square. Is it clear, Vedant? Is it clear? Okay, okay. Any other person, any doubt? If you have, please feel free to ask. Please feel free to ask. Okay, everyone. So that is enough for today. All right. Rest everything we'll discuss in next class.